The phone buzzed in my hand, a familiar chill running down my spine. It was a Snapchat notification, but not just any notification. This one was different, cold and ominous. It was from an unknown sender. My heart pounded like a drum in my chest as I hesitantly tapped on the notification, a sense of dread washing over me. Little did I know, this was only the beginning of a terrifying ordeal.
We were young, careless, and addicted to documenting our lives, one fleeting image at a time. Each snap was a window into our everyday routines, filled with laughter, inside jokes, and mundane moments. We never imagined that our casual sharing would become a portal for something sinister to slither into our lives. These are not mere stories, but chilling accounts of real-life Snapchat horror stories, whispered from one horrified friend to another. Brace yourself, dear reader, as we delve into the darkest corners of the digital world.
"Where's Sarah?" I typed, my fingers flying across the keyboard, a sense of unease settling in the pit of my stomach. Sarah, my best friend, had been unusually quiet on Snapchat all day. Her usual stream of selfies and silly videos had dwindled to an unsettling silence. Her last snap, sent just a few hours ago, showed her smiling face, a backdrop of our bustling college campus behind her. But something about her smile seemed off, strained, as if a shadow lurked just beyond the camera's lens. Hours turned into a night, and Sarah remained offline. Her phone went straight to voicemail, each unanswered ring amplifying my anxiety. I scrolled through our chat history, my heart sinking with each passing moment. It was as if she had vanished into thin air, leaving behind nothing but a void of unanswered questions.
The next day, a chilling discovery sent shivers down our spines. A grainy image surfaced on a local news website, a blurry figure lying motionless on the outskirts of campus. It was too distant to be certain, but the clothes, the hair, everything about the figure screamed Sarah's name. We huddled together, our faces illuminated by the cold, harsh glow of our phones, each of us dreading the confirmation that we all knew was coming. The police arrived at my doorstep later that evening, their faces grim, their questions sharp and pointed. They wanted to see my phone, specifically my Snapchat conversations with Sarah. As I scrolled through our chat history, my blood ran cold. There, nestled between our light-hearted banter and shared secrets, was a snap I had never seen before.
The image was gone as quickly as it had appeared, leaving behind a chilling trail of goosebumps and unanswered questions. How had that photo ended up in our chat? And who or what was that lurking in the shadows behind Sarah? The police were baffled, their investigation hitting dead end after dead end. But we, her friends, knew in our hearts that something was terribly wrong.
One evening, as I was walking back to my dorm, my phone buzzed in my pocket. It was another Snapchat notification, this one from an unknown sender. My heart skipped a beat, my fingers trembling as I hesitantly tapped on the notification. The image that greeted me sent a wave of terror crashing over me. It was a photo of my dorm room, taken from outside my window. I dropped my phone, the screen shattering upon impact. A million shards of glass reflecting my own terror-stricken face. It was as if the very device that had once connected me to the world was now a harbinger of my deepest fears. Each shard seemed to hold a fragment of my anxiety, a piece of the puzzle that was my unraveling sanity. I ran faster than I ever had before, my lungs burning, my legs screaming for respite. The campus, usually a place of learning and laughter, had transformed into a labyrinth of shadows and echoes. Every corner I turned, every path I took, seemed to stretch endlessly, as if the very ground beneath me was conspiring to keep me from safety. But the image of those eyes, seared into my mind, fueled my desperate flight. They were not just eyes, they were portals to a malevolent force that seemed to know my every move, my every thought. The darkness around me felt alive, pulsating with an energy that was both foreign and terrifying. I didn't stop running until I reached the sanctuary of my friend's dorm room, my body trembling, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The room, usually a haven of comfort and camaraderie, now felt like a fragile bubble, ready to burst at any moment. My friends' faces mirrored my own fear, their eyes wide with the same unspoken dread that gripped my heart. We huddled together, the silence punctuated by our ragged breaths and the frantic pounding of our hearts. Our phones, once lifelines to the outside world, now buzzed ominously with notifications that we dared not check. Each ping felt like a countdown, a reminder that time was slipping away and that our unseen tormentor was drawing closer. We knew with a certainty that chilled us to the bone that we were not alone. The silence around us was not just the absence of sound, it was a presence, a tangible force that pressed down on us, making it hard to breathe, hard to think. It was as if the very air was charged with a malevolent intent, waiting for the right moment to strike. Something was hunting us, toying with us, using our own digital playground as a hunting ground. The very tools we used to connect, to share, to live our lives, had been turned against us. Social media, messaging apps, even simple phone calls had become conduits for fear. Each interaction a potential trap laid by our unseen predator. The police dismissed our fears as paranoia, the ramblings of grief-stricken teenagers. But we knew better. We had seen the signs, felt the presence, heard the whispers. Their skepticism only deepened our resolve, making us more determined to uncover the truth, to find a way to fight back against the darkness that sought to consume us. Our phones, once sources of comfort and connection, had become weapons of terror, their screens reflecting the fear that gnawed at our souls. Each message, each call, each notification was a reminder of our vulnerability, a crack in the facade of normalcy that we clung to so desperately. The very technology that had once empowered us now served as a conduit for our deepest fears. And then, the whispers started. At first, they were faint, barely audible over the hum of everyday life. But as the days passed, they grew louder, more insistent, weaving themselves into the fabric of our reality. They spoke of secrets, of hidden truths, of dangers lurking just beyond the edge of perception. And as we listened, we realized that the whispers were not just in the static. They were in our minds, our hearts, our very souls.
At first, we dismissed them as figments of our sleep-deprived minds, auditory hallucinations brought on by stress and exhaustion. But the whispers persisted, growing louder, clearer, more insistent with each passing day. They seemed to emanate from our phones, slithering through the speakers, worming their way into our brains. They whispered our names, recounted our deepest fears, taunted us with cryptic messages that made our blood run cold.
One by one, our friends started to crack under the pressure. They abandoned their phones, deleted their social media accounts, retreated into a self-imposed digital exile. But it was too late. The entity had already sunk its claws into our lives, and it wasn't about to let go without a fight. I woke up one morning to find a single, unopened snap on my phone.
The image that greeted me was my own, my face illuminated by the cold light of my phone screen. But something was different. My eyes were vacant, my smile twisted into a grotesque mockery of joy, and behind me, a shadowy figure stood, its features obscured but its presence undeniable. It was the same figure from Sarah's last snap, the same one that haunted my nightmares, the same one that whispered my name in the dead of night. I wanted to scream, to hurl my phone across the room, to erase the image from my mind. But I couldn't. I was paralyzed, frozen in place by a fear so profound that it stole my breath, my voice, my very will to move. The snap disappeared, replaced by the app's familiar interface. But the image, seared into my mind's eye, refused to fade. I knew then that I was in grave danger, that the entity had marked me as its next target.
For weeks, I lived in a state of heightened anxiety, jumping at shadows, flinching at every unexpected noise. I avoided all forms of social media, terrified that the entity would find a way to reach me, to torment me once more. But just when I thought it was safe to breathe again, it struck. I was watching TV, trying to lose myself in the mindless chatter of a late-night talk show, when the screen flickered, the image distorting into a chaotic mess of static and snow. And then, I saw it. The face, my face, staring back at me from the abyss of the television screen.
I screamed, scrambling back from the television, my heart pounding in my chest. The image flickered once more, then vanished, leaving behind only the faint hum of the television set and the lingering scent of ozone.
I was trapped, a prisoner in my own home, hunted by a creature born of ones and zeros, a digital demon with a taste for human fear. My phone, my computer, my television, they were all potential portals, gateways for the entity to enter my world. I unplugged everything, severing my connection to the digital world, hoping to sever its connection to me. But it was too late. The entity was already inside my head, its whispers echoing through the corridors of my mind. I could feel its presence, cold and calculating, watching my every move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
And then, one day, it simply stopped. The whispers ceased. The nightmares faded. The entity was gone. I never knew why it targeted me, why it tormented me, why it finally let me go. But I learned a valuable lesson, one that I will never forget. Beware the digital world, my friends, for it is a place of shadows and whispers, where unseen terrors lurk and nightmares become reality. Beware the snap, for it may be the last thing you ever see.